Emma and her friends, fresh off a plane from France, stepped onto English soil. Their hearts pulsated with excitement, their eyes sparkled with anticipation. England, a land steeped in history and shrouded in mystery, was now their playground. Their laughter echoed through the cobblestone streets, the joyous sound a stark contrast to the ominous fog that clung to the ancient buildings. They were like children, innocent and carefree, unaware of the chilling tale that was about to unfold. They marveled at the historic sights, their cameras capturing memories they hoped would last a lifetime. Each click of the shutter, each shared smile was a moment of joy frozen in time. Yet as the day wore on, a sense of unease began to creep in. The sky turned a foreboding shade of gray and the air grew cold. Unfazed, they pressed on, their adventurous spirits leading them to a destination they'd never forget. As the sun started to set, they decided to explore a famous vintage store. They entered the vintage store where the air smelled of old books and forgotten stories. The scent of yesteryears hung heavily in the air, a mix of dust and the faintly sweet aroma of aged wood. This was a place where relics of the past found a home, waiting for someone to discover their tales. Emma, our French tourist, was instantly captivated by the store's charm, her eyes sparkling with the allure of the unknown. The store was a treasure trove of antiques, each item a silent testament to a different era. Emma's curiosity was piqued, her fingers itching to touch and unravel the stories hidden within these artifacts. As she moved deeper into the store, her fascination only grew. Behind the cash desk sat an old lady, her face as weathered as the relics she guarded. Her eyes, though cloudy with age, held an unspoken depth. A shroud of mystery surrounded her, adding to the store's eerie ambiance. Emma and her friends tried to engage her in conversation, but their questions echoed unanswered in the quiet store. The old lady remained silent, an enigma wrapped in the folds of her age. Emma, although puzzled by this strange behavior, chose not to dwell on it. She was more interested in the treasures that awaited her in the store's shadowy corners. The old lady's silence was merely another layer of intrigue to this place that seemed to be frozen in time. As Emma ventured further into the store, she felt an inexplicable pull towards a small, dark corner. It was as if the store was guiding her, whispering ancient secrets in her ear. Her heart pounded in her chest as she moved closer, the thrill of the unknown propelling her forward. And then she saw it. Nestled in the shadows was an old compass, its brass casing dull with age. It seemed out of place, yet perfectly at home in this store of antiquities. Emma, drawn to its quaint charm, reached out to touch it. Drawn to a small, dark corner of the store, Emma stumbles upon an old compass. Her fingers brushed against the cold metal, a thrill of anticipation coursing through her. Unbeknownst to her, this was just the beginning of a journey that would change her life forever. As Emma's fingers brush against the cold metal of the compass, the world around her shifts. A shiver runs down her spine. The warmth of the vintage shop fades away, replaced by a bone-chilling cold. The familiar sights of the store dissolve into a murky darkness. The store, once filled with the chatter of her friends and the clinking of antique items, is now eerily quiet. The only sounds that remain are the unsettling whispers that seem to echo from the shadowy corners of the maze that now surrounds her. Emma stands frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. A sense of dread washes over her, the whispers growing louder, more insistent. Her friends' laughter, their excited chatter, fades into the distance, replaced by an oppressive silence. She calls out to them, her voice echoing through the labyrinth, but there's no response. The antique store, with its charming relics of the past, has transformed into a sinister maze. The walls rise around her, cold and unyielding. The once comforting scent of aged wood and dust is replaced by the dank smell of decay, the air heavy with a sense of foreboding. She stumbles forward, her steps echoing ominously in the stillness. Every corner she turns reveals another endless corridor, a never-ending labyrinth that seems to twist and turn on itself. The compass in her hand feels heavier, its needle spinning wildly as if in response to the chaos that surrounds her. The whispers grow louder, the voices unintelligible yet filled with a sense of urgency that sets her nerves on edge. She runs, her footsteps echoing through the maze, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The whispers chase her, an invisible specter nipping at her heels. Panic sets in, her heartbeat a wild drum in her ears. She's alone, trapped in a world that's no longer familiar. The antique store, her friends, the laughter and excitement of the trip feel like distant memories replaced by the cold reality of the maze. Emma is alone now, trapped in a ghostly maze. The walls close in around her, the whispers grow louder, and the compass in her hand spins wildly, a chilling reminder of the transformation that has left her lost and alone. And so, Emma's nightmare begins. The air turns colder as Emma hears a chilling whisper behind her. The whisper is a low, growling murmur, an eerie sound that sends shivers down her spine. It's a voice neither human nor animal. It's the voice of the maze, the voice of the antique store that no longer exists. Terror seizes Emma, and she bolts, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She runs, her footsteps echoing in the narrow, dark lanes of the maze. Left, right, left. She turns in every direction, but every path leads her back to the same spot. The old compass, still clutched in her hand, seems to mock her futile attempts to escape. Her breath comes in ragged gasps. She cries out, a desperate plea for help. But the only response is her own voice, bouncing back at her from the cold stone walls. It's a haunting echo, a chilling reminder of her isolation. She's alone, trapped in a ghostly labyrinth with no way out. She tries to think, to strategize, but fear overwhelms her logic. Every shadow is a threat, every whisper a warning. Her heart thumps wildly in her chest, a rhythm of dread that drowns out all other sounds. She can only think of escape, of getting out of this nightmare and back to the safety of the real world. Suddenly a figure materializes in the gloom. It's not human. It's a specter, a ghostly apparition that sends a fresh wave of terror coursing through Emma. It's a figure from a nightmare, a figure from the deepest, darkest corners of her fears. It's the embodiment of the maze, a manifestation of the dread that has been closing in on her since she first picked up the old compass. Emma screams and sprints away, her fear lending her a burst of adrenaline. But the ghostly figure pursues her, a relentless predator in this nightmarish game of cat and mouse. Emma runs, her terror driving her forward, her desperation fueling her flight. A ghostly figure appears, sending Emma sprinting away in terror. Her screams echo through the maze, a chilling soundtrack to her endless run. Her story is far from over, but for now she is trapped, forever running in this haunted maze. With the ghostly figure hot on her heels, Emma continues to sprint through the maze. The labyrinthian nightmare has no end, it seems, as each turn leads to another dizzying stretch of corridors. The cold air stings her lungs, but she pushes on, driven by the primal instinct of survival. The maze is relentless, a cruel and unending puzzle. It twists and turns, folding back onto itself, a never-ending cycle of despair. Emma's footfalls echo in the hollow emptiness, a steady rhythm that marks the passing of time in this timeless place. Now and then she catches glimpses of the ghostly figure in the periphery of her vision. Each sighting sends a fresh wave of terror coursing through her veins. Its spectral form is a blur in the dim light, a haunting reminder of her pursuer. The figure is always there, always following, a constant presence in this terrifying game of cat and mouse. Emma's fear compounds with each passing moment, but so does her determination. She refuses to give in to the despair that threatens to overwhelm her. She clings to the hope of escape, the promise of freedom just beyond the next corner. The scene is a testament to her desperation, her will to survive. There is a raw brutality in her flight, a primal fear that drives her forward. She is a creature of pure instinct now, fear and determination entwined in a dance as old as time itself. As she runs, she can feel the ghostly figure drawing ever nearer. Its chilling presence is a constant reminder of the danger she faces. Yet she does not falter. She does not give in to her fear. She runs with all the strength she has left, her eyes fixed on the path ahead. Suddenly she turns a corner, disappearing from view. The ghostly figure follows, its spectral form disappearing into the darkness. Emma's footfalls echo in the distance, growing fainter and fainter until there is nothing left but the chilling silence of the maze. As the ghostly figure draws nearer, Emma turns a corner and disappears from view. Emma is gone, swallowed by the maze. It's a chilling reminder of the power of the unknown, the allure of the dark corners of our world. The vintage store, once a place of fascination and curiosity, has become a prison, a labyrinth of fear. The ancient compass, the instrument of her undoing, remains an enigma, its true purpose hidden in the folds of time. We are left with an unfinished tale, a story of exploration turned nightmare. Emma's laughter and joy, once echoing through the cobblestone streets of England, have been replaced by the silent echo of her footsteps in the maze. Her friends, her journey, her dreams of returning to France, all are overshadowed by the dark specter of her fate. In the end, we are all Emma, drawn by the allure of the unknown, sometimes finding more than we bargained for. And so Emma continues to run, forever lost in the maze, her laughter now a distant memory,